All right, we back. Hopefully everything work out with the screen. So like I was saying, a lot of times people may get the like I said, they may start for like 2 weeks and
Mhm.
they get that back tightness and then they just give up. What would you suggest?
I mean, again, starting with the nutrition. I mean, it's great to get out and do a bunch of things, uh, but if you're gonna once if your nutrition is consistent, it's never gonna be perfect. It needs to be consistent, something you can sustain. Once you get it there, with the understanding that it's gonna get better, it's gonna get worse, it's gonna stay in the middle. So you have to understand that your nutrition is never gonna be the same or perfect. If you move on to activity, do something, start with something that you actually like to do. If you don't like running, just don't start doing it because someone else lost a bunch of weight and they did it running. You have to do things that you're liking because if you don't do something you like, you're not going to continue it. So
That
it
I,
go
I
ahead.
believe that's one of the biggest misconceptions, like we talked about off air, is we see somebody that's doing something, they got a great program and they lost a lot of weight. We might not even know what they did. They might even had the surgery.
Exactly.
And we're so quick to be like, I want to do what they did. I'm
Yeah.
following them because we assume they did whatever they had to do to lose weight. So we look at their results. What would you suggest for that?
Stay in your lane. That's the best thing you can do. Stay in your own lane. You can ask somebody what they did with an understanding that you want to take that information and maybe you can apply it to your life. Maybe you can. But if you look at someone and say, "Ooh, I want to do what you did. You lost all this weight. What did you do?" And they say, "Well, it's because I just went through a terrible divorce and I haven't eaten." What you, what you gonna do? What are you gonna do with that? You can't do anything with that information. Surely you don't want to go through that, but you want the good stuff. So it's a
So that
constant battle of just finding out what works for you.
okay, okay, okay. So let me see. We touched on that. So how is that? And I always gotta. Me, man. I'm always thinking something crazy. I ain't
Yeah,
changed
what's
that much. How is
that?
that with you with being a trainer with women, man? It's like you got to be so disciplined because you married.
Mhm.
So how is that like? What are some of the battles with doing that?
For me, none. And I say
Okay.
that because this specific set. I mean, there's boundaries that are set.
Hmm.
You can ask. I mean, there's over 100 women that I train that are members of my gym. You can ask each and every one of them, and they'll each and all say, "There's never been a time when I put them in a position where they felt like that was even an option."
Great.
You have to
Great.
set that up from the beginning. You have to maintain that from the beginning, and you never cross that path. If someone ever crosses that path toward me, they understand. Like I talk about my wife all the time. She trains at the gym all the time, so it's not like none of this is hidden. I wear a ring all the time, so it's never a situation where you can even give someone the idea that it's even going to remotely happen. Like they
Okay.
know that's not what they're there for. That's not what I'm there for. So no,
We
not an
we got
issue.
one question, Tank, right now. We
All
got
right.
is it a certain amount of calories one should take in, or should it go by one's weight?
So literally, we're like little snowflakes. Everybody's different. And I say that because everyone has what's called a resting metabolism. So simply put, that's literally how many calories you burn if you woke up and did nothing all day. So that is a baseline. Literally, everyone has one that's a little different, some higher, some lower. So there's no one blanket number. The number that people throw around a lot is either 1,500, 1,200, or 1,000. It's one of those where you can't just pick one number and just give it to every human being. Now, you can use it to give you a baseline, and let's say you use it for 2, 3 weeks and see if it works for you. If it works, then keep doing it. What I would suggest is do something more like portion control, limiting what you eat. Don't just change. Don't change the variety so much. Keep it simple.
And
And
for the folks
go ahead.
that's watching, Alloy is down in Georgia, Gwinnett County.
Gwinnett
Uh,
County, Sewanee, Georgia. There's two actually. There's one in Roswell, which is where I started at. I started there from 2005 till I left in 2016 and opened up the gym in Sewanee. So there's technically two. I own the one in Sewanee.
yeah, so it's an all women's gym for right now. Uh, Anthony been working out all his life.
Pretty much.
Someone in Facebook said the Facebook users try to tell me who you are because Facebook has some security issues that I can't see who's answering the question. But it's okay. Do you do online training?
Yes. I mean, yes. The simple answer is yes. The hard part is people literally. legally, no trainer, unless they're a registered dietitian, should be giving you a meal plan to specifically eat X, Y, and Z for two reasons. One, I gave you a meal plan. Let's say you look at the meal plan and you don't like anything on it. You're not going to either, one, start it, or two, sustain it. So from that aspect, that's a legal thing. Now, I don't give someone a specific meal plan because that's like giving you the answers to the test. Yes, you'll get an A this test, but what happens when you test again? You're going to fail because you never learned how to do it yourself. So I teach people the right way to do things versus just giving them the answer so they can actually sustain it, because the goal is not to have you rely on me. It's to help you build something that you can take with you for the rest of your life.
That's a good question. I don't think most people realize that might be quote unquote illegal.
Yeah,
From
technically it is.
Somebody asked you the same thing I asked you. What do you think about the keto diet?
I think it's something that, I mean, like any diet, we as humans should not be dieting 12 months a year. Any diet you go on is supposed to give you the tools that you can use to adapt for the rest of your life. Now, if you're not learning, if you're just doing it and doing it and doing it over and over again without any hopes of learning anything from it that you can take for the rest of your life, then at some point you're going to stop doing it, go back to your normal habits, and basically go back to where you started, because literally this is a game of habits. Whether they're good, whether they're bad, you have to change the things you do on a regular basis to then get the results you're looking for.
I see the questions. Any more questions? Any more questions from our chat? So what has no you? I can't even ask you that. Take what has been your biggest obstacle, because you've been training since high school, since we was playing football at the school.
Honestly, I mean, I do have a biggest obstacle.
Okay.
Now it's more of a specific obstacle related to my business, and it's one of those where people lump fitness into one category. So everything people think of fitness is just one thing. Where you may have something like a boot camp, you may have something like an Orange Theory, something that we do. It's not the same.
Okay.
So I do small group personal training for women. Now, one of the things I do, you are not allowed to even train. You can't pick up one weight, do one rep in my gym until I go through a 30-minute assessment with you, because I have to keep you safe first. And I have to find out where your flexibility is, your mobility, your fitness level, your injuries. We can't just throw you on the floor and say, hey, good luck, let's start working out, you're going to be fine. I don't know you, and nor should you trust me to take care of you. So not everybody does that, and not all fitness is created the same. So that's one of the biggest obstacles.
Take a lot of supporters of my YouTube channel as well as the Facebook page. It's majority all women.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So, this is why I have a gym for women. That's how.
So this was like the perfect conversation to target to a lot of the women in the group.
And back to that point, literally, I mean, you know it. Guys generally don't want to go ask for instructions. What we gonna do? We're gonna go back to what we did in high school. I'm like, dude, you are 40. You ain't lifted in 20 years. Knock it off.
I got one question somebody just put up. They said, I don't sweat. Is there something I'm not doing correctly?
No, you are doing fine. I don't sweat either. So here's the thing. I love that question. So if you walk across the parking lot in Georgia in the middle of July, 95 degrees, you're going to sweat. And why? It's because your body's trying to help you not die. Sweating is your body's response to cooling you down. If you don't sweat, your body hasn't heated up enough. That doesn't mean you're not working out. If you sweat a lot, that doesn't mean you had a great workout. It's the same thing with sore. I can beat you with a bat. You're going to be sore, but you didn't get a great workout. You're just sore from being beaten with a bat. So sore and sweat don't necessarily equal a good workout. I don't sweat very much at all when I work out.
Okay. And we got a couple more minutes for these questions. I don't know if most people know that we call him Tank, but his name is Anthony. True. He loves to speak, so he doesn't mind answering the questions. He is going to tell us exactly what we need to hear, not what we want to hear in reference to starting off with our fitness.
That's a good point right there, because people who know me know I'm reality. I keep it real. I keep it real. More so in the fact that, like, look, don't waste your time doing X, Y, and Z. This is not going to help you get where you want to go. It's going to be painful to hear, but at the end of the day, you're going to know what I just said makes sense and it's right. So my goal is to teach people.
And for those that don't know, I put his workout video up in the group yesterday, and tomorrow is, God willing, his birthday. He will be 46. So that's right. You look at how he looks at his age, and you be the judge whether he looks great for his age or not. Is there any more questions? Let's see. Let's give it a couple seconds because they take a while. They take a while to pop up.
Right.
He has it. So you got a speaking engagement tomorrow, Tank?
Yes, for about an hour, hour and a half. It's literally it's a grad chapter, AKA graduate chapter down here in Georgia, for their Pink Goes Red heart health awareness. So I'm going to be doing exactly what I'm doing now, dispelling the myths, giving out information, talking about the things like heart disease, mental health. Like a lot of people come to me, they don't necessarily always want to lose weight. They just want to come in here and get strong. This is the place they go to decompress from their day. So skinny is not always the goal. It's also some mental health tied to going to the gym and just decompressing, letting some stress out, and knowing they can do that at a place that's safe for them. That's perfect for them.
That's. I'm glad you brought that up because you made me think of this question. A lot of, even though you deal primarily with women, do you feel like it's a lot of men, particularly our age, going through certain things in life, like you said, divorce, job, whatever, and we start gaining weight because I would say now depressed.
Yeah.
So what would you suggest? Like, I know you're not a psychiatrist, so you can't tell us that, but what would you suggest that persons do where they're basically unsure of themselves and now their eating habits are getting bad, they're sitting on the couch, they're not walking like they used to?
It's basically, I think it goes back to finding joy in some of the things that you've done in the past. Because at that point, you're in a situation that you may not find an end to. You may look at it, and I get a lot from some of the ladies too. But the ladies are more apt to communicate to get the help that they need. Where men, we're told to be strong, so you can't be the one who looks like you need help. But sometimes we do need help, and if you don't get it, at some point it's going to explode.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to get to the point where you say, you know what, I need help. I can find a place where I can go to get that help and don't feel like I am an outcast, I'm going to be made fun of, and I should never go get help again.
Okay. Yeah, that's one of the things I see a lot because sometimes people get in that rut and then they just don't want to do nothing. They don't, they just sitting around and they just, next thing you know, they done gain 40, 50 pounds. And it's like, oh man,
Yep.
Is cardio or weight training better or both?
The question becomes better for what? Now I'm going to make the assumption here that they mean for fat loss. So again, as I was telling you, the very first thing you should do is get your diet in line. Get your nutrition in line. I hate saying diet because everyone assumes it has to have a specific name, South Beach diet, keto diet. So just get your nutrition in line first. If it's fat loss we're talking about as your goal, nutrition first, then it's strength training, and then cardio. But people look at cardio as the low-hanging fruit. So they're like, oh, I can throw some shoes on and go walk around the block, go for a run. Let me do that first. So it's the easiest thing. But unfortunately, we've been walking since we were, 10 months, 1 year? Clearly, that shouldn't be the first thing you do. You've been doing it for how many decades already, and it's not what's working? Just because you do it with some intent doesn't mean it's all of a sudden going to be what leads you to your goals.
Somebody put, my other half thinks wearing a hoodie, T-shirt, sweatpants, and other clothing items is necessary. Is more better?
As far as clothes?
Yes.
Well, yeah, if you live in Alaska and you're in the summer, I'm in the middle of the winter, yeah, why not be warm in the middle of the winter? But no, you don't need a bunch of clothes. What would that, because literally it's sweat, it's water. All you're doing is getting the water out of your body, and what you're going to do is replace it with more water anyway. So that's unrealistic. That is a huge myth. It goes back to the whole, is sweating what makes me feel like I'm doing work? It makes you feel like you've done a great job, but no, you're just sweating.
Mess around and die, mess around and pass out because your body temperature too hot.
Yeah. I haven't heard that one in a while. That was good.
So, folks, we're gonna let Tank go. I'm glad he could spend some time with us, give us some tips, and we definitely gonna try to get him back on the near future because, like I told you guys, tomorrow's his birthday. He got an engagement going on tomorrow as well. Tank, we glad you could join us, man. Appreciate everything you're doing, man. Appreciate you being part of what we're trying to do on our platform.
No problem.
And I respect it. I gave you short notice, and you just said, yo, I can do it such and such.
Yes, I like helping people.
Yeah, and it worked out perfect. Tank, man, thanks a lot. Appreciate everybody in the broadcast and everything. and everybody says salute.
All right.